Jeep 411. In this edition of Jeep 411, we're going to show you how to rebuild Dynatrac ball joints with Quinn Thomas at All J Products. But before we head over to All J, watch this video clip. It's very interesting and shows one of the reasons why it's really important to take care of the ball joints and other parts of the suspension. Death wobble is pretty scary. So that sequence was filmed about 5 years ago when we were experiencing some serious death wobble issues with the Jeep 4x4 School JKU, the Grizzly Con. Since then, we've tried 2 different ball joints right after that happened to try to solve the problem. In both cases, those ball joints lasted about 1,000 miles. After that, we went to the Dynatrac ball joints, and those ball joints, which are really strong and very durable, have lasted about 35,000 miles before they needed a rebuild. The other day, I was driving on the interstate and just noticed a little bit of shake in the steering after going over a bump at about 70 miles an hour. So I went to All J, we put it up on the lift and checked the suspension, and there was a little bit of slop in the ball joints. So today we're going to head over to All J and take care of that problem and show you how to rebuild the Dynatrac ball joints. To put this in perspective, most of you know, if you've watched any of our videos, that we do a lot of product testing, especially tire testing. So the Jeep 4x4 School JKU is not babied. It's well maintained, but it is not babied. It's been used a lot in very extreme circumstances, both on club runs, fun runs, and in extensive testing. We're to solve the death wobble problem before it becomes a big issue by rebuilding the Dynatrac ball joints. It's an excellent product, and very pleased to have these on the Jeep because they've given us 5 years now of really good service.
Hey guys, we're here with Jeep 411 today, and we're going to talk about death wobble, or how to diagnose death wobble before it happens. So right here we have Don's Jeep, and Don was getting just a very light shimmy in the steering wheel. And if you're driving and you just start to get that little bit of a shimmy in the steering wheel, that's usually an indication that something is either on its way out or going out right pretty soon. So we did a little big diagnosis on this Jeep, and I'll show you the common areas to take a look at. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check your track bar, and this is your bar that goes from your frame down to your axle. It's got a bushing at the axle end and a bushing at the at the frame on the driver's side. So we checked that track bar and it was fine. Our next thing would be our tie rod ends. So on this Jeep we have the Curry steering with the replaceable ends. You've got one joint here at the pitman arm. You have one joint at the left front wheel. You have one joint at the right front wheel, and then you have one at the right knuckle for your drag link. So you have 4 joints there. Now we checked all of those were fine. What it ended up being the beginning of on Don's Jeep was his ball joints. And on this Jeep we have some Dynatrac ball joints. Now they're rebuildable, and they don't last forever. They may on some Jeeps, but on Don's Jeep he's put a lot of miles on his Jeep, a lot of hard miles, and so his were starting to show a little bit of a slop, so that's why we rebuilt them. So in the following images, we'll show you how to rebuild the Dynatrac ball joints. So once you make the diagnosis, there's a few other things you can check. So another thing that's very, very, very common with shimmy in the beginning of death wobble is tire balance. And we'll have a video shortly on how to do tire balancing, but a lot of times the shops will just take the easy way, which is static balance the center of the rim. We'll explain that in a future video. Tire balance can play a huge part of the start of death wobble or the start of shimmy. The other thing that can cause some symptoms, but it doesn't always solve it, is your steering stabilizer. On Don's Jeep we have a PSC ram. Obviously seen better days. This Jeep gets run hard, but this one does not have a steering stabilizer because it has this PSC ram assist. But on a regular Jeep you'll have a steering stabilizer, and about 95% of the time, the steering stabilizer won't cause or fix death wobble, but a lot of shops like to throw steering stabilizers at a car saying it's going to fix your death wobble. So in my experience, we've been here almost 20 years at our shop, but steering stabilizer is almost always never cause shimmy or death wobble.
Just to show how easy it is.
Those ones are gone. You could just get in there real deep like Corey. See how much more it's got done?
Yep.
And it'll even get tighter.
Subscribers with the stuff they're doing.
We should be able to kick their butt.
What's that?
It's a 1-inch socket.
Small?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull this boot off. It's actually
Put that nut on backwards. After you reuse this piece. Replace that. Okay, Corey.
everybody needs to experience that.
Oh, yeah.
You have not lived unless you had this bubble. But to get someone, you know,
We gotta find where it fits.
So it fits in the grooves.
Yeah, it'll fit in two of them together.
Okay.
You just gotta find the right
Just give me
combo.
a minute or two, and I'll have them guys go out and look at it.
They looked at it last
Oh, they
they
did?
heard it.
So we're gonna have to spin it a little more to get it to line up.
The nut.
Yes.
They didn't find a problem, but they did.
So we gotta either come to this one or that one.
So what do you have to do?
And I might back it off just a hair first.
It's just the engine. There's no doubt. Start moving.
There we go.
We probably need to put it up on the back. That's probably what we should do, is listen to it up in the air.
That's what they said.
Yeah, I can do that later today. I just can't do it right now because I have the rack open.
Yeah,
So if you want to come back, maybe around 2,
okay.
we can put it up in the air. Okay. Cool.
Of course.
All done.
I clean that up a little bit.
Who's got the gather lady?
That's mine.
It might have to go a hair more.
Terrific. That's neat.
you should be able to tap
Yeah,
it.
it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Leave it stock for a month.
There you go.
Get a good,
And then you just take your clip, small hammer.
then I'm gonna lift it.
Yeah, put that seal on the bottom too.
Put my weight
Yes.
back on it. Still deciding to add one of the parts that I want to run out. I have to. Particular suspension, and they were saying December, but now it's March, so.
Just want that under a flat part. Then we got our seal, which keeps the grease in.
Be fun.
Okay, I'll let you get to work.
All right, we'll see you this afternoon.
And we're done.
All right, so real quick, you've been watching us rebuild these ball joints, and I just wanted to make a note. This is one of the very early Dynatracks before they had the version for the newer Jeeps. In order to fit the RCVs in, we did have to grind down this part of the ball joint in order for the RCV to work with this. I just want to make note that Dynatrack has fixed this, and they no longer have this clearance issue. They have a regular version now that they sell that works with all the new style U-joints and RCVs.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of G411, and hopefully you've learned something as well. And please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll be seeing you soon on another episode of G411.